have already talked before also how important it is for the life skills. Okay. Now, life skills, a concept is very poor in India. In India, parents either don't realize or they don't get guidance, and after guidance, they don't find it worth it. Amader Deshe in India, there are two kind of parenting system. There is one parent system who are from affluent family, don't regard household chores very important. You know, they have servants, they have machineries to do work. Poor parents who have monetary issues, they are bounded. Rather, I find them teaching their children skills for survival. So there are two kind of parenting. One is compelled and one just is a privileged family. Now, my question to you, as a professional, being such a senior occupational therapist, where do you see that it is actually the most important thing to teach first, the life skills, even before
Okay,
doing anything? And what exactly life skills means? Now you can answer.
Yeah, so it's really a nice question, first of all. But I would say this is not one, this is only. It should not be one. This is only. Life skill is the only thing. You know, if your life skill is not okay, it means your foundational, even components, all components is not okay. Because think about it, you cannot do toileting by yourself. You cannot do feeding by yourself. You cannot do, you cannot wear your dress by yourself.
Yes, of
So
course.
it's already a red alert. Obviously, you have to go with the age appropriateness. I would not say someone is 4 years old and must need to wear his dress by himself. No, definitely not. But that should be a long-term goal. You need to start from a short-term goal. You have to see what I can expect from a 4-year child boy and what I can expect from a 12-year child boy, So obviously, when somebody cannot do this basic functional movement, so wearing a dress means what? It's a coordination of a lot of functional movement, right?
Absolutely.
Which actually, and this functional movement also coordinate with your basic cognitive abilities.
Absolutely.
And then it becomes a function, it's become an activity, right? It's now you think about it, someone don't have this minimum cognitive abilities, don't have these basics and foundational functional movements. Now you want him to do writing, how it can be possible? And
So true.
so yeah, this is one thing. Second thing, obviously we know our Indian context, we are okay because we have people they can help, but you need to understand here very very basic things. That's okay to get help. It's nothing wrong. I'm saying if you can afford, you can get it. But something is called neurotypical, neuroatypical. So why I'm saying it is important to know, see, when somebody is a neurotypical and she really needs some help, but she has the other abilities, she can do it. It's the something she doesn't want to do. It is not something she is not able to do. This is very important things. It is not something she is not able to do. It is something she doesn't want to do, but if she wants, she can do it. So that's basically a sign of neurotypical. Right. There's a
Absolutely.
lot of kids, even, you see like 12 years, 15 years kids also, they will say, oh, mommy, feed me. And they're okay. But when the times come, they can feed by themselves.
Absolutely. I have seen most of the time a child is having feeding problem, correct? And I find parents jumping in, khaiye dao. You feed the child. I mean, the child may have challenges, genuine challenges. But then I think here itself one parent needs to understand that child needs to learn to eat by themselves. Now you make a facility
Yes,
for that.
again, I'm saying it's depend on if it's really a see, we can't ignore the context and the cultural beliefs. It's very important. We can't ignore it. Think about a family. They are really rich, and they have money. They have people to do things. They don't bother. And the child is really neurotypical. You got it. So I don't mind if somebody feed her or him. I really don't mind because it's not going to impact his brain that much because he is or she is doing a lot of other high function activities. It's a different thing. But when it is already highlighted, like my child has some issues, okay? It is already highlighted, like my child has some issues. And I really want my child to develop his or her brain function, okay? Because it's already a neurotypical brain. You have to start from there. You can't just feed, because this is something why it's important. Now, life skill or this everyday activity, why it is important? Because this is something we do repeatedly every day.
Yeah.
You got it. This is
So,
something essential and we do every day. And when you do something every day and essential, that's actually changes the brain circuit. That changes the brain, the neuron connections.
yes, consistent way of working.
Yes, because it is something we can do only consistently. You got it.
Absolutely.
And every day brain is learning little bit challenge because today maybe my child is learning how to take only fluid food. Okay. Next day you learn maybe little bit crunchy food. So it's every time the taste is changing, every time the texture is changing, it's a challenge. And brain is learning to take these challenges. Okay. And this is something happening consistently. And that is the reason, even to improve the brain function, you have to do this more rather than, okay, go and, therapy center and just do some obstacle course. Yeah.
Exactly. This is what I wanted you to tell. You're so honest there. That's why I always respect you. Now, I want to ask you another question, which in a way, ঘুরিয়ে তুমি আমাকে realize করিয়েছিলে, which I didn't knew before, though I used to practice. That is, what relevancy is there between structured teaching and occupational therapy?
So, see, it's see, occupational therapy is the big umbrella. It's really a big umbrella. Okay, it can come with a structured teaching. It also can come with unstructured teaching. But it's totally depend on the diagnosis of the kids, problem of the kids. Okay, like one example, I have even today I was doing a report for our kids, and he has it's called I forgot the term. It's like uh, demanding behaviors.
Demanding behaviors, yes.
Yes, with autism, demanding
So
avoidance, demanding
just one
behavior.
question
Something.
here to add. Is it demanding in a very fixated way, or it can be regulated?
No, it's actually pathological. So it's called pathological avoidance behavior or pathological demanding behavior, something. I exactly forgot the terms. Yeah, so it's a pathological. So what happened when somebody is like this, and it's a pathological, you can't ignore it. Maybe you can't work with really a structure initially. And if you really want to work with him initially with a structure, that may not really help you. You got it. So,
Yes.
and also like sensory issues also, there is depend on the severity of sensory issues, depend on what type of sensory the kids have. Okay, and depend on it, you can both start with a structure and also you can start with unstructured. Like one example, suppose you have a kid who has gravitational insecurity issues. Okay, and she really can't focus to anything. She really can't sit anywhere, and everything, whatever she see, she feels like she's insecure. Her special awareness is so, like, I mean, it's not good. Like, it has a lot of issues with the spatial awareness,
Hmm.
and she feel insecure. So what happened now? If you really want her, without any prior preparation, want her to, make her sit and make the visual structure or something,
Hmm.
she may really show behavior that will not be good. But once you start with the unstructured thing, then slowly make it a structure.
Yes.
Because ultimately, all the things end with the structured things.
Absolutely. And I find it actually it's something very good. We don't have
No,
to waste much.
end of the day, see, it's very simple thing. End of the day, you want your kids to sit in bench, and see the board, what teacher is saying. What's that? That's all a structure, right? Right. And like, see the curriculum, see the routine that you want. And now it's depend on how I start the approach. Like, if you go to this one, it's called a float time approach. I think the float time approach. If you see how they develop the pattern of the therapy, it's actually level one is totally unstructured thing. Whatever the kids
Absolutely.
is doing, whatever the kids
Absolutely.
is doing, from there, they try to develop the relationship, two-way communication, all those.
Yes.
But if you see the milestone of the and the how they do the parameters of this, it's actually end with the structured teaching. And
It is just
ultimately,
not for,
structured teaching
but
also a
Amit,
long-term
this is
goal.
interesting. This is interesting. It's just not about children with autism. It's with you and me also.
Everyone, yeah.
Everyone. We also need, like, when we do this seminars and all, we first calculate the time zone. All these are part of structure. As simple as that. And
Yeah.
another thing, what I really find it very important is, this is, I won't talk, see, I am now connected with many parts of the world. But what I felt about my own country people is, somewhere the moment diagnosis come, in most of the cases, they start taking their child's life devalued. They just don't want to understand. मतलब अच्छा अब मैं थेरेपी सेंटर दे रहे हैं वो जो कर रहा है करो. Getting involved into it is something very important. I at least feel like there is no issues in asking questions, but learn. If you learn that system, it's not difficult. Hati goda ding no, ita boja jai. I think parent getting involved and understanding creates more scope for child's development. What do you think?
Okay. So again, see, like, I always talk, to support the parents. So I say, yeah,
Yes.
you really doing a good job. You really want to send the kids to the therapy room. Yeah, you send every day. You must send it every day, not only weekly, one day. You must send every day, and make sure you are also sending every day at least 3 to 4 hours. Right.
Absolutely.
So it means your kids will be most of the time with the therapist, and it will be then you can get some good result. Okay, now.
Now, another question adding to that, which I really want you to answer is, see, we know children, forget about whatever the diagnosis is. Children, they don't learn from the beginning. They also slowly learn, right? And the very, very important problem which every child faces is body regulation. And this body regulation, if they cannot feel correctly, then they have emotional issues. So
Okay,
how occupational therapy actually helps immensely over here? That is the knowledge.
Yeah,
We
so
need to
you have actually multiple questions. So do you know the theory of mind, body, brain?
Yes, I know.
You know the theory, right? So actually there is nothing called, like, the emotion or something. Everything is body. Yeah, if you don't have a brain, you don't have mind. Very simple thing. Okay, so you really need to have an intact brain. It's called intact brain. So if when I say intact brain, in our layman word, we can say the hardware and software both should work nicely. You got it. So, like in autism, you will see the hardware is very good. You go for a CT scan, you go for MRI, you will not get any issue. But there is an issue. So that's the problem of the software, the processing.
The
We
processing.
give a name. We say sensory processing. We give a name. Now, the interesting part is, you know, we can do activity even when we are not regulated. We can do it, and we are doing it. Think about yourself. It is always you attend a conversation when you are really with the optimal regulation zone. Not really, right? You are not. Everyone. But what happened? We have a high cognitive functions. We have a high cognitive function. So our neurological system is not supporting even. There is irritations you are getting. Okay? But your cognitive function is so strong. You have a judgment, it's called judgmental cognitive abilities. Okay, and these abilities is telling you, should I really go up from here or I should be in here? Or if I go from here, that will not be socially appropriate. So whatever my inside is happening, and you can realize it because you have a interoceptions abilities. You can realize what's happening, but in the same time, as you are aware about it, aware about your state of your body, state of your like feeling inside what's happening, with your cognitive abilities, you are actually controlling yourself because you have a mature frontal lobe, you have a mature perceptions, integrations. But what happened with the kids? They don't have the mature brain functions, especially the frontal lobe. You know, it takes 8 hours, 8 years. I'm saying hours, 8 years to develop. You know, so, and in the same time, they have a lot of irritation inside their body. That can be anything. I'm not saying only the sensory things, I'm saying anything. You got it? And they are not aware about their interoceptions. Now, obviously, the regulation, what we need, it's like cognitive function is like a secondary support. They don't still have that secondary support. Body is also like from the sensory aspect, body is also not supporting. Obviously, you will see a dysregulated child. Okay? Absolutely. So obviously you have to work on the body. You need to understand where you are working. Because if there is a child, like 6 years old child, and you are trying to teach them, okay, you know, you should follow the social rules, this, it will not work because their cognitive development milestone biologically is not supported. So you have to work on, because we know we can work on more through the motor function, sensory motor function, because that is more developed biologically. So you have to focus on there, and you have to work on the sensory systems more. Now here it is very important things. A lot of therapies, they believe sensory integration or sensory. So it's also need to understand sensory integration is a different thing, and sensory, just work with sensory, is a different thing. It's a different theory. It's very different theory. This is all frame of references and approaches. Like I can say sensory, diet. People say sensory integration. So it's all about the theories, how the theories develop based on the research. Okay. So it's depend on what type of approach you are using for it. And that approach come through the proper assessment. You know, like one example, like somebody have issues, some kids have issues with maybe just with auditory, defensiveness. He can't take the noise. And you are bringing him to the swing, you are, therapy center, they are doing swing activity, they are doing obstacle care, trampoline jumping, everything they are doing. But I'm telling you, this kid will never ever develop develop his capacity to be able to self-control of towards this auditory defensiveness, because there is
Thank
no
you.
link to it.
Thank you for saying this. And I can give
Yeah.
a hug to you.
That's a fact. You need to, that's the assessment is very important, because this, when you are really focusing jumping or this, all even not only jumping, that's again come under a different theory. It's called sensory diet
Absolutely.
theory. Okay, just you are just
Absolutely.
giving the jumping. But when I
Absolutely.
say, if you go to IRAS, like sensory integration developed by IRAS, right? So if you go with the theory, the assumption is saying it's an integration. Integration means what? There should be more than one sensory system together.
Absolutely.
And theory also saying only the neurological connections, you will get better when you go through a meaningful activities. You got it. Now, I bring the kids to the trampoline, and he was just jumping on the trampoline, jumping on the trampoline. In which aspect this is a meaningful activity? Tell me. And what he is receiving? Yes, nothing. Only his like up and down, and a lot of you have inner canal, you have a lot of chemicals that's going up and down. It's actually a lot of imbalance and a lot of like energy, like diversion. And the child is tired, you may feel, oh, he is like so much regulated. No, it's not actually helping to develop the processing, what I'm saying. But example, in the same, yeah, maybe he needs, and a lot of kids, a lot of parents, they will say, oh, my child, he really likes it, he really likes trampoline. Yeah, any kids, like almost 80% kids actually like trampoline jumping. It's doesn't matter neurotypical or atypical. They like it.
Exactly. But what is oriented towards it? मतलब वो करके करना क्या है? I mean,
Yes,
करो.
that's
Neither
that's
child
that's
needs,
really need
use
an
it as a
expert
motivation or
mind.
a reinforcement part.
Yeah, you can use it as a reinforcement. Yeah, that's a good thing. You can use it as a reward, but it also depend on how you are presenting it. Because when you are,
Exactly.
like if you go to the, if you see, if you Google it, you will see the optimal zone or threshold. You will see it like somebody's like, bystander group. And when you give too much, jumping or something, they can actually cross the level and they can be over and they will shut down.
True.
So you are not actually helping. So it's all the theories. If you go scientifically, evidence is saying you have to help the kids to organize their sensory system. It's not about other things. It is organize your sensory systems.
Now,
Okay.
with that, Amit, I want you to answer this also. You know how the practice is in India. Okay, you are much aware, and you being in a different country, you know what the practice is all about. Tell us. I find when some children come to my school, I find most of the occupational therapists, they don't assess. There is no written format for IEP. They don't maintain an IEP. They don't have a goal setting. Aren't parents should be aware of it, that whenever they are going to a therapist, they should have a proper documented thing, what is being prescribed for the child. How much important it is, you should tell, because you practice
This
in
is
your institute. That's something very important. And
yeah,
I'll see
this
how
is
detailed way you go.
the problem is where it's because I think it's a regulation issues, the council regulation issues, though we have council, but it's not really effectively work. So anybody can do anything. That's one of the problem. So one of the biggest issue is you are an occupational therapist doesn't mean you will be expert to something. Like whenever some referral comes to me, I'm actually running my own business here in Australia also. So I got a lot of referrals for psychiatric reasons for adult cases, like hallucination and others. I directly tell to them, oh, I'm not actually expert for it. I would like to, refer to someone else. You got it. Now, to earn money, maybe sometime we just see everything, but my expertise zone is not even pediatrics. You got it. So this problem is in India, and I'm aware about it. Like you, like if they're good OT, maybe they're good OT. I'm not saying they're not good, but they're may not good in actually with the kids. And also with kids is different. See, you may be very good OT with kids who has physical dysfunctions. You got it. But when it's come autism, it's very different area.
It's very difficult.
Very
it's
different
very
area.
difficult.
So you may not be good with it. It's good to say like I don't know and I want to learn. Okay, because it's not about only only you are spending the time. You are actually wasting a life. You are wasting a life
Actually, and it comes
to
to
become
such an
independent.
extent, you don't have an answer afterwards, and then you say
Yeah, and also
we can't do anything.
yeah, and also like it's like you are creating a disrespect, environment for other therapists also. When you don't know something, but you pretend you know and you go and do it.
True.
And yeah, obviously it's also again depend on the things that you say IEP and other things. It depend on like if you so when we OT a pediatric, we work in different setup. Like we work in a school setup, we work in like a specialist school. We can also work in mainstream school. We work in the community. We work in the clinic. So what happened? Obviously, when OT is working in the school institution base, there should be IEP. But IEP may not be actually when it's in the clinic because you do not need actually IEP there. But you need a goal there. IEP is a individualized educational plan, but that one is like you need a goal, and the goal need in everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are working.
Absolutely.
And you have to make really as a OT, it's very important to make functional goal.
True.
Like you come to me and I'm saying you, I think your muscles is weak. You have to do this and do. But that's not exactly my role. That's actually physio role. But obviously I need to know it. I can tell to the parents also, oh, he has actually weakness in the muscles, and obviously I will help to do the function what actually affecting because of this weakness. But in the same time I need a physio who will actually work on the muscles strengthening.
This is why I respect you, no? This is why I respect you, that you are also giving importance and relevance to physiotherapy.
Yeah, this
they don't
this is a teamwork.
accept.
This is not only my work or your work.
It is a combined work.
Yeah,
It's
a
about occupational
multidisciplinary way
therapists
we
and
work.
physiotherapists. People don't know that physiotherapists have an important role in autism field because they cannot flex their muscles.
They have important role.
Acha, arekta important question I will ask, because this also needs to be explained and it should come from you.
আমি একটু জাস্ট একটা কথা বলছি এখানে।
Please.
The problem is where like it is maybe especially আমাদের এশিয়ান কন্টিনেন্টে, আমি সিঙ্গাপুরকে বলবো না, মানে সিঙ্গাপুর অনেক অ্যাডভান্স, মানে আমাদের ইন্ডিয়া বা ইন্ডিয়ার আশেপাশে যে নেইবার কান্ট্রি গুলো আছে। তো সমস্যাটা কোথায়? ইভেন তুমি যদি ইফ ইউ সি দ্য মেডিকেল লাইক মেডিসিন, ঠিক আছে, মেডিসিন প্র্যাকটিস যারা করে ওখানেও দেখবে, ইফ ইউ গো টু আ মেডিসিন ডক্টর and they will maybe just a general physician, but they will give you a very expertise advice. Okay, but if they should not legally, ethically, they should not. Their work is to just direct the client to the specialist. Like if you see even those are doing medicine practice, they are prescribing physiotherapy. Physiotherapist is prescribing something else. So it's happening. So that's the reason it's a broken system already, and everybody wants to show they are capable. Everybody wants to show they knows everything, But the end of the day, the sufferer is who received the services.
And the dangerous game is on in India. I find
It's just
so
a
many
game.
WhatsApp groups opened who are not even novices. I'm not saying they should not, but they are novices. They have rather not passed also and just, so those things are a real problem. Anyway, forget about the systems. What I want you to tell me two things, which is very important. The first thing, introception. And second is, let's come to the age group who has crossed 11 years. So what about it? I'm tell you later, but introception ta ekটু বোঝাও, খুব দরকার সবার বোঝার।
বাংলায় বলবো না ইংলিশে বলবো?
ইংলিশ
আচ্ছা,
বাংলায় হিন্দি আমি পরে বলে দেবো।
so interoceptions, like in very, I think you know it actually, what is interoception.
I know, but I
don't need
want
to tell
parents
you.
to
It's
listen
very
from
simple
you.
things like it was an ignored sensation. We always say it was an ignored sensation until few years back, when research found, like, you need also to understand the interoceptions, and that is
Yes.
actually a vital things. Why it's vital is saying your whole regulation zone depend on your own awareness. Are you aware about your body or not? Are you aware about what's happening inside or not? And that's, if you go our ancient practice, you will find people do meditation, people do yoga. What's that? It is all about, feeling inside, trying to understand inside. Like what's happening, like focusing to yourself more, what's happening inside. And now these days there is a practice going on, it's called mindfulness, and it is also that what's happening, understand, and also you need to express it. You got it. So in short, interoception is your understanding and your knowledge what's happening inside your body. And it can be even pain, it can be irritation in the joints, it can be constipation. Constipation is a feeling, right? Pain is a feeling, right? Irritation of skin, what is this? Is a feeling. So understanding this, so we call it, like, there is two types of sensory feeling. One is called external, another is called internal. Okay, so external is what? External is like sounds. You do not need, do not need to touch you to hear sound. But when I say touch, somebody need to touch. So it's like internal. Interoception is something more inside.
Yes. The
Even
core of
not,
everything.
Yes, and it is not something happening from the output.
Yes.
It is everything related to your input.
মানে তুমি যেটা রিসিভ করছো, what you are receiving is comprehension of it, your expression.
Yes, you got it. Like if I say I need to feel touch, something I need to touch, otherwise somebody will touch me, so I will only feel it. Or some objects, towards objects, or maybe my own body touching something. When I say proprioception, it's also at least you need to move, or at least you need to stand, or at least you need to just maintain a lying position, then you will feel it. But interoception can come even when you are sleeping, right? When you are sleeping and you wake up, you think about it, your whole neurological system is down, you are like in a hallucination mood already, but still you are thinking, you are drowsy, you are low aroused. You can feel it, right? You can feel it, you are low aroused and you need a coffee. You are saying, oh, I need coffee, I'm not, now this feeling is coming from where? That is interoceptions.
True. Now the most important question. the most important question and the most controversial question I'm going to ask you.
বলো।
সেটা হলো adolescence and adulthood. You know,
তুমি আরেকটা কোশ্চেন জিজ্ঞেস করেছো, আসলে আমি ওটাকে
ওটাই
ভুলে গেলাম। এটা
ওটাই
হচ্ছে যে
ওটাই
what happened like after 12 should I okay, so this is also if a therapist know about the frame of references, you know, so frame of references basically something what helps you to guide what should do uh like in this what should do something meaningful for the clients, for the participants. And when I say meaningful, it should comes with lot of things like
absolutely.
context, it should comes with cultural background, and it should come also age appropriateness. You got it. So what happened, like one example, a child starting handwriting practice at the age of 4 years old, and I know the biological readiness is actually 4 to 6. So it's absolutely a good practice they started, but the child already reached 12 years. Okay. But still he is only learning how to write A. Okay, now parents come to me and saying me, oh, still he can't write his name, he can't write any alphabet. Okay, can you help him? Because as a OT we work on it, right? So what I do, you know, can you answer me?
No.
Answer me. No, guess. Sorry, I have cold.
It's okay. I can't guess because I don't wait for it. I go for technology. Okay. যে বাচ্চা লিখতে পারছে না
Exactly. So what I say, exactly, I say this kids is already practicing this skill like 6 year, you know, 6 to 7 year, and he is here now, and he is like traumatized with it.
Exactly.
You know,
And
so why
the
you want
moment
to
you
give him
introduce
more
digital
trauma?
literacy, they fare well.
Yeah, so this is one thing. And second thing, I ask parents, tell me how much time you write in a day, how functional it is. And they say, oh, we rarely write because we sometimes do the checkbook and something and maybe signature. Then I say, what about it? Your son will just learn how to do signature, and he doesn't need to even write his full name. And if somebody really can write even and it's feasible, I would say like, okay, just train the this is 12 or 15 years, just train how to fill up a simple form, and that's functional.
That's it.
So when I see
As simple as
somebody
that.
already in the functional zone, okay, so my evaluation is this is called functional means what? Something, some skill I achieved to live independently, that's called functional. So I do not need to get a training from an occupational therapist to write a novel. That's not functional, that's extraordinary. And if you have already that skill, if you have the ability to already write and you want to grow on, yeah, I can send you to a job coach or maybe a trainer. You got it. You do not need a special support for it. You need actually good trainer who can help you how to write a novel.
And I have seen children fare so well with digital literacy.
Yeah, so exactly, so that's the thing. So we do so when you say functional analysis or functional capacity analysis, it means you have to see both. You have to see what the kids able to do, especially as I said, like if it is a 6-year child, maybe I will actually focus more on what he cannot do. Okay.
Exactly.
But when it's 12 years or 15 years, I will actually focus more what he can do. Okay, and where is his interest zone? So if I see somebody is really good in typing, even the touch screen he is using quite nicely, I will never go to actually writing.
Why
So
should
that's
we?
also as a therapist my
Exactly.
role. Yeah, so that is also as a therapist my role. That's called parents education. So we actually provide parents education there, parent counseling there. And yeah, maximum parents, they understand the things, and they also know it, like the parents know it, like his child really traumatized with the handwriting, like I'm giving an example of it. So they know it, and they really try to find like what is like the best guidance for them, and they're happy with it. Yeah, it's
So
sometimes they
true.
have lack educations and they don't
And I know
understand.
how much you support communication through device.
Yeah, you have to. So like as example, so OT works in everywhere, OT, like everything is functions end of the day, and OT can actually go everywhere. But obviously, we don't go very expert level when it's a communication, when it's related to language thing. So we rely on more speech therapist and they come. But in communication, we again we go up to the functional level. So like uh one example, I see one kid's like 6 years old, and
Hmm.
he is in his school, and when he feel hungry, he is non-verbal. He is actually holding teacher's hand and pulling teachers, asking for food. He can't say food, but he is like pulling hand and going to the fridge, because here, like in school,
Hmm.
in classroom, they have fridge, they have everything. It's very different things. So we were requesting, like instead of that, because they have the iPad, why not to use some software, like we have here, they use like mostly the block to go and all other things.
Okay.
So we use this, and we get like the child actually doing more interactions with others. So this communication was one barrier of his social skills. Now when he was like using the devices, he actually like more open to communicate with everyone. He's going to
Absolutely.
everyone and tapping it and saying hello, hello, and others are looking to him. So
Exactly.
he feels more fun rather than like pulling someone. Yeah, especially his peer group, they don't understand when he try to pull them. For him, it's like, let's go, we'll play. But they don't understand. They like really, you know, uh, push them
True.
back. But when he started this, let's go play, kids also join him, and it changes his life. His social skill improve more. His social anxiety reduce a lot. His peer
Absolutely.
relationship develop because of this
Absolutely.
small modification. So that's we call modifications. It's a environmental modifications, and that changes the skill. Yeah.
True. So true. And it is so necessary. Now, one burning question, which I've held for the last segment because I'm not going to take much time. আবার করবো তাও ভালো, but this question has to be put because as I told you that we are heading towards autism convention in the month of November. If you can come down, I'll be very glad. And I have more requests, which I'll do personally. Adolescents are adults. এদের এত aggression বেড়ে যায়, প্রচুর aggression বেড়ে যায়। And আরেকটা প্রবলেম যেটা পেরেন্টস খুব একটা ফেস করতে চায় না, তাদের সেক্সুয়াল এগ্রেশনটা। সেক্সুয়াল স্টিমুলেশন, যাদের ইন্টারসেপশন ইজ আ প্রবলেম, তো সে তো নিজের সেক্সুয়ালিটিকেও রেগুলেট করতে
Exactly.
পারছে না। তো সেখানে অকুপেশনাল থেরাপি কিভাবে হেল্প করতে পারে, আদৌ পারে?
Yeah.
Or is that something which is involving parents? They need a hands-on guidance over here. What exactly you can help, or the
Okay.
system helps?
Yeah. So দেখো কি হচ্ছে যখন somebody you need to know this is very important things. You need to know like prognosis of anything. Prognosis. So every difficulties or every diagnosis have a prognosis. And if you are aware about it, you will know like now I really find out somebody have interoceptions issues. Okay. And when I find somebody have interoception issues and he may diagnosed with autism, and I have to track down like how he was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or and I will see how he's actually all the developing milestone. It is like really delayed and he really achieved, or it's actually never achieved. So this all data help me to identify the prognosis.
Absolutely.
Now, this prognosis helped me to identify what frame of reference I will use for the intervention. So there is two intervention we use. One called recovery intervention, and another is called rehabilitation intervention. What does it mean? And both are frame of references. So what does it mean? Recovery means I see if the child will get the right intervention, his interoception's ability can increase. It means if he has a sexual desire, he will feel it. Okay, and he also can improve his communication for it. So both I need to see, is there a chance I can develop it? Prognosis is there based on the evidence, data. There's a reason we need a lot of data collections. Second things, when data is saying me no, the prognosis is not good, even though you try a lot, interoceptions will not improve. So we need to go through the compensatory strategy. Still you have to help the kids, right? What does it mean? That means when somebody have the sexual desire, what you can be. So first of all, that's come with the education, and you have to tell and educate and aware, because the child have the visual awareness. You have to aware what's happened in your body and how it looks like actually when you need it, because he doesn't know what is the feeling, what is how it's to help with this feeling and how he manages it. But he will know when this changes happening in the body or something happening in my body, this is and this is, then what need to do, what function need to do. So he have a checklist for it, and you have to train this, and that is called the compensatory strategy. What does it mean? There is a child, and you can start with to develop the interoceptions, like you will do this. If this not work, come with the interest compensatory strategy. What does it mean? Here a lot of strategy we put actually. One, like the child is able to recognize. So we will say what you are doing, that's absolutely right. But to do it, you need to choose a private locations.
Sense of privacy.
Maximum the problem is, see, doing masturbation is not wrong. But you have to do in a private place. They don't know that part only, right? And they react to the body, they don't have a control, and they'll like open up their pants and start masturbation there. Yeah. So your goal will be there to train the kids, choose the right place to do it. So it's like as I say, it's not a easy things. It's not an easy thing. So you have to collect a lot of data for it. And now the child may don't have the masturbation, like even he has the sense of it, but he doesn't have the sense of what is really called private and what is really called public.
Exactly.
Now you have to find it out. Can I really train my kids this part, like what is really called public and what is really called private? It is possible to train him. Is it
there
possible
comes the structure part.
You got it. Now, if I feel, no, it is not possible because the severity and the prognosis is saying not possible, then there is a lot of other like techniques. There is actually devices. There is devices to help the kids. It doesn't matter girls or like boy. There is devices, because this is
those
something
devices are available
needs.
in India. I don't think so.
In India also it's available.
Available. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
inquire later on.
Yeah, your devices. So you have to go with the routine. Even before this desire happen, you can actually help them. Because this is something, whatever the physical activity you will do, if you do more physical activity, the sexual desireness will increase more. There is a misconcept, like people, they think, oh, he's doing a lot of masturbation, so give him a lot of physical activity, he will do it less. But I'm telling you, no, it's not happening. The feeling of the sexual things is totally different. It's totally different brain circuit control it. So how much proprioceptions and how much relaxation you are giving, it doesn't matter. The typical things is body is relaxed, you will get more sexual desire. You know, even body is tired, your brain is looking for dopamine.
Yes.
Okay, and when your
Exactly.
brain is looking for dopamine, and the body will tell you what is the easiest way to get the dopamine, and the kids will do masturbation.
That is human nature. That is how the
Yeah,
human
you
mechanism
cannot ignore
is.
it. And first
That's
of
why
all, you
sex is
cannot
so
ignore it.
motivating for every human.
Yeah, first of all, you cannot ignore it. Second of all, you cannot suppress it.
Exactly.
Okay, so you need to, because this is also our occupations. So any
Absolutely.
occupations for living, any occupations for living, so living, the person or the individual should participate. You
Absolutely.
got it? It
Absolutely.
doesn't matter what is the age, it doesn't matter what is the conditions. If they have the ability, like as an example, there is a adolescent child or maybe adult who has maybe C4 spinal complete injury, you know, like obviously he doesn't have the needs. You got it? Because it's already gone. He doesn't, or maybe a severe traumatic brain injury, and you know those cells are responsible for this sensation. He will never feel it, so he doesn't need it, and he doesn't need to participate in these occupations. But those have the biological needs. Okay, like it's exactly the same. This social integration, it is a biological needs. People cannot be without people. If somebody choose to be alone for few days, that's okay, but it's every day, every time, whole life, that's we consider as a psychological issues. You got it? So exactly what is
Ekdam.
your biological needs, you cannot ignore it, you cannot suppress it. You need
Absolutely.
to help kids how to participate it. That should be based on the social norms and rules.
True. In fact, whomever I have talked to or they have followed this, actually their children also calm down. That aggression part is handled very
Yeah, because
nicely.
as I told it, see, it's anything in your body, nothing. See, your regulation is what? It's a total combination of your lot of things.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you can't ignore what happened. If this is a finger, this is just a finger, right? And this is just a nail, right? Now think about it. A small pin can go inside my finger. It's just a small part in the body. Now, if it's continuously poking me in here, do you think I can be really regulated and talk to you? It's
No,
just a small part, right? So that's
no.
the thing, because it is also my body, and it's
Exactly.
also
The
my
body
biology.
awareness is so
Yes.
important.
So this occupation, the is sexual occupation, is also a biological needs. It's also a part of my body. You can't ignore it. And it's anything disturbing your body, your normal, you know, pathway or biological flow, that will affect your neurological threshold. That will affect your regulation.
Even if I say thank you, it will be much less.
And this is not for only kids, this is for everyone, you know, those have the abilities. So in occupational therapy, the main thing is I would say, like, it's very important to know the any occupational therapy goal is actually towards participations to uh, uh, occupations. And we say occupations in medical, it's like everything what you do. That's a start from your sleep is also called occupation, and like sexual activity, that's also occupations. Everything, your toilet, that's also occupations. So
More on that
that's
we need
saying,
to talk about.
if you go to WHO classification of disability, they have WHO version 2 now. you go to the classification and you will find there, so in the classification, this sexual activity also added. And it has a point. So if somebody is really have the ability but cannot really perform this occupations or activity for some reason, that also considered as disability.
Yes, Amit, I have taken so much time, so I won't take more time. Rather, I'll connect again with various topics.
We'll join
and
soon.
I have a request before you go. You're coming to India, you're coming to Kolkata. You have to give me a day for workshop.
I will talk about it. I'm going for holiday.
It's a demand. Didi hoichi shomane demand kori. And I'm so
না
thankful.
আমি দেখছি আমি তোমার সাথে মানে কথা বলছি, এবার গিয়ে থাকবো অনেকদিন যদিও, কিন্তু আমি ওখানে গিয়েও কিছু
then we'll do more than that. I know your daughter needs you, but we also need you.
My big daughters need me more than my younger one.
That goes without saying. That goes without saying.
বাড়িতে গেলে আমার মা কোথায় যেতে দেয় না, কোথায় যেতে দেয় না।
Let me conclude this and then I'll take 2 minutes of yours. Let me conclude this. Thank you so much. That was, I think, very helpful to all of you. We'll have more such thing from Amit, and Amit is always available, and he's one of the best human ever seen in this field. So I always connect to him.